Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Auset-heru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and don't forget to leave us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end if you can, because I have 2 positive comments to read that I really like a lot. Also, if you would like to get a reading done, please email me. My email information and everything you need to know about me is underneath this video. I'm on social media, I have merch, I'm on Patreon, and I have all kinds of other information underneath this video, so please check it out. Now, somebody asked me, I talked earlier about how these baby witches from TikTok were going around spreading this stupid rumor that they had cursed the moon. So somebody said to me, what is the importance of the moon in magic? Why does it seem like you always hear about celestial beings, namely the moon and the sun and the stars, in astrology and magic and things like that? Like, why are these things so central, especially when it comes to the moon? So the moon, and I had said this earlier, the moon and the celestial bodies, the sun, the stars, they're energy, literally. They are literally energy. And so when you are in a magical tradition, you're tapping into the energy. It's kind of like a cell phone. When you plug it into the wall, a person can plug into, not physically but energetically, you can plug into the sun, you can plug into the energy of the moon, you can plug into the energy of the stars. It's actually a ceremony called drawing down the moon, where you stand in the moonlight and draw the energy into your aura. So these celestial beings are energy, and obviously they would keep us alive, especially the sun. If it wasn't for the sun, none of us would be able to even make it. The moon, we might be able to make it without the moon, but the moon does have control over the tides, and the moon also, it has a thing with water, so it controls the tides, and it also, a lot of people have evidence that it really affects the water in our bodies. That's why a lot of people during the full moon act crazy, and some people like me get real grumpy during the new moon. I noticed that. So some people are really affected by that energy in different ways. My mother said that my mother was a cop. She's retired now. But my mother told me it was a well-known fact that on the night of the full moon, things were going to happen. She said when they came into roll call, they would tell them, like, if the moon is full, be on your P's and Q's. And she said they never offered an explanation, but they told the law enforcement, the EMTs, all of them, when the moon is full, humans act crazy. People act crazy. This is what my mother told me. Her lieutenant told her as a rookie cop. So people who deal with the public already know this just from their behavior, especially at night. So the moon does affect us. It affects us if we're doing magic or not. So if you are doing some type of magic, almost every magical tradition that I know of utilizes the energy from the moon and from the sun and from the stars. But a lot of times the moon is the primary source. And the reason why the moon is the primary source, I think that it probably started before it. It probably just the primary source because a lot of people do their rituals at night. A lot of people waited until nighttime to do their rituals because you're not lighting candles during the day. A lot of rituals are done with candles. And that is the fire magic element of magic. So if you're lighting candles to do candle magic, you're not lighting them during the day usually. Now, I've even had them lit during the day. Like if I had a spell that was more than one day, it would be lit during the day, but I usually started it at night. So a lot of traditions, because they were practical traditions, they would use candle magic and they would start it at night. So that's one thing. And then if you think about it, throughout history, as Christianity starts to take over more and more empires as, the main religion, a lot more people who had these earth honoring traditions were persecuted, witches, people from different, any kind of spiritual system really that wasn't Christianity. They could accuse you of being a heathen or a heretic, and then there would be a trial sometimes, and then they would murder you basically, because like, if you look at like the witch trials of any time period from Salem or from Europe, or even, even modern day, sometimes people who practice differently are persecuted. So you see this a lot. So during the time when it was very fashionable to murder people who weren't Christians, to do all kind of things to them, during that time, people that practiced, those practices didn't go away. That's how people like me and others still practice today, because they didn't go away. They were taken into secret. And when do you do secret things? What's the term? In the dark. So people would do their spiritual, it's more like, I would think it's like church really, but they would do these kind of things at night. These, I'm gonna call them, I can't even call them prayer ceremonies. They were just like different kinds of rituals, depending on which tradition you were in, really. But there were different types of rituals, different types of spells, different types of all kind of stuff they would do. And they typically did it at night, because usually the people who were persecuting you were asleep, hopefully, and you could get away with doing your rituals or whatever you had to do at 2 o'clock in the morning under the full moon. So a lot of these traditions, because of persecution, had to do their jobs, their energy, their work at night. And like I said, even before that, many of them did anyway, because of the practicality of it all. So that's the importance of the moon. And also, we base everything on the moon. Remember, I said the moon is a source of energy. So based on how much energy the moon has at a given time, you do certain work. For example, when the moon is full, you can cast almost any spell or do almost any ritual you want to do, except for specific ones. Like if you have to do something on the, what is that called? The solstice, then you have to wait for the solstice. If you have to do something on the equinox, you have to wait for the equinox. You can't just do it on any full moon. So something that's specific like that, no. But most things you can do on the full moon. Let's say you want to do a healing spell because you're under the weather, or because your grandmother is sick in the hospital or something like that. A great time to do it is during the full moon, because the full moon is the maximum, the height of its energy. We believe that the moon gets stronger in energy as it goes through its phases. The height of it is the full moon. So during the full moon, whatever you want to do, that's the best time to do it. Now, the new moon, which is when the sky is generally black during the new moon. The new moon is for things you want to bring into your life, things you want to manifest. So it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you start it during the new moon, so it gradually increases over time. Something you want to increase in your life. Now, if you want something to go away, you wait until after the full moon, and it's starting to get smaller. So you want this thing to get smaller and disappear from your life. So if you want to do a spell to get rid of a person or a situation, or let's say you're a heavy smoker and you want to do a spell to stop smoking, it would be smart to do it after the full moon, when it's in the fourth quarter and it's waning, it's getting smaller. When it's waxing, it's getting bigger. When it's waning, it's getting smaller. That's the phases of the moon. So you see how important the moon is? It's like we base, even when it's like our clock. We even base when we do a spell based on the level of energy and power where the moon is. So a lot of people ask me, like, is the moon important? Yeah, the moon is extremely important to anybody who's casting any kind of rituals or spell and want to do them using the power of the moon. And I have never ran across any spiritual tradition where they didn't use the moon. Now, I'm not going to say there aren't any, because there might be, but I know all the ones I have read about, I personally know members of, they all use the moon. Most of them use the full moon, and others use different phases of the moon. It just depends on the person. Okay? So that's the importance of the moon. The moon is extremely important. Now, I'm going to read some of these comments. Cup of Ken says, yeah, she done once. She done, extremely done. She's done. Once she moved, that was a wrap. I love these. I'm an Aquarius and my ex is an Aquarius. What a roller coaster that was. Yeah, done. Yeah, that person that she's talking about was a video I did about an Aquarius who basically broke up with her boyfriend and disappeared. And he want to know, is she done? And Cup of Kid is like, she's done. She's extremely done. She's overdone. That relationship is over. And that's the same thing I said too. I'm like, nah. If she comes back to him, I would. It's a miracle. It's literally a miracle. Now, Liub, I think it's Liub. Excuse me if I don't say it properly. My pronunciations aren't always on point. Liub said, the last unpopular opinion is super true. Don't hate me because I am well read. Aquarius always get a lot of hate for being the know-it-all, you know? And it's like, I can't help it that I read. I can't help it that I enjoy learning things. I can't help that. I have learned, though, not to interject my knowledge unless somebody wants it, you know? So I will say, I know a little about this. Do you want to know about it? A lot of times I'll say that because some people do get very irritated with the know-it-all Aquarius. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.